Alright, let's be real. BENU makes some of the most out there fountain pens on the market. You either love them or you may think they look like a unicorn has exploded. And today we're looking at one of their latest creations, and that is the BENU Early Bird. This thing is a hand-painted, super vibrant and honestly just beautiful pen, but is it worth the price? Does it actually write as good as it looks? And how does it stack up against other pens in this price range? So let's find out. Now, full disclosure before we start today's video, this pen has been sent in for promotional purposes by BENU. However, all thoughts and opinions are my own. No third-party opinions have been influenced. And you know what? I'm more than happy to help a company like BENU. I'm sure most of you are fully aware of their story, of them escaping the turbulence of the Russian-Ukrainian conflict, and they have taken the moral stance and left Russia to set up in Armenia. So I think that helps sort of solidify my reasons to why I'm more than happy to help, promote BENU. Right. Okay, so what we have here is some quite simple packaging, and BENU is a company that likes to keep it simple, which I do really appreciate. There's no over-the-top luxury box, it's just a straightforward presentation, and that puts more focus on the pen itself. And man, this pen does look good. And this leads me on to the best part. The design is hand-painted. This isn't some sort of factory printed pattern. An actual artist has worked on this and worked on it for at least 5 days. So every single one is slightly different, which makes it feel special. Now let's talk about the durability, because anytime you hear hand-painted, you gotta wonder, is this thing delicate? Nope. BENU seals the artwork under a very thick, glossy UV resin. That means there's no fading, no chipping, and no wearing off from daily use. I've had pens where designs start to look a little bit dull over time, and some lacquered pens can be super delicate. But this, you can toss it in a bag, use it daily, and it will still look brand new. And whilst we're at it, we may as well have a look at the design of this pen. What we have here is an early bird depicted on the main barrel of the pen and surrounded by some branches and some very glittery resin. It is just absolutely fantastic. And I've had some glittery pens in the past. I've had one of the Esterbrook Estes with the diamond cast material, and I have to say it looked kind of dull under certain lights. This, on the other hand, you could wake up a neighbourhood with how glittery this is. It's really quite a glittery pen. No matter what light I have this in, the light reflection of the particles is just absolutely beautiful. It's there's nothing I've got in my collection which is like this. Even my Radon pens don't glitter as much as this, and that's saying something. So I do appreciate that this might not necessarily be to everybody's taste, but it's something which has sort of grown on me. I must admit that maybe I wasn't necessarily team BENU at one stage in my fountain pen collecting journey, but as I have grown in my appreciation for artwork, I'm really happy that BENU reached out to me and offered this pen for review purposes. I don't know if necessarily I would have bought it otherwise, but I think this sort of goes to show that maybe going to a pen show, seeing pens in person, can really help sort of sell something more than just some stock photos which you see online. And in person it is quite a thing. There's a lot of depth to this material. There's a three-dimensionality to how those sort of reflective pieces of plastic have been embedded into the pen body, and it's lovely for it. Of course, really, the real star of the show is this hand-painted early bird, which I don't know if it's based on any particular variety of bird, but it is beautiful in its execution. The only thing I would say is perhaps the design does get a little bit lost with some of the reflective material used within the pen body. That's not to say you can't appreciate it close up, but it becomes a little bit more subdued the further away you go with this pen. Maybe perhaps dialing back on some of the reflective nature within the resin would help perhaps make the bird stand out more. But other than that, it's a lovely rendition. So it's fine for a pen to look great, but if it writes like garbage, what is the point? Now luckily, BENU doesn't disappoint here, and this is something which is echoed by a lot of community members. The nibs are made by Schmidt and they write absolutely superb. I opted for a 1.1 and a 1.5 stub, and I have to say it's absolutely gorgeous. I've used stubs in the past which have been a little bit dry. I've loaded some of the Pen of the Year ink from Edelstein, the Tanzanite I think it's called, and it's kept up really well. I'd say maybe some of the glitter particles haven't got through as much as I would like in later writing sessions, but it's been absolutely great. And I've now left this pen for over a week just to test out its ability to be able to pick up and write after an extended duration of time, and it's been brilliant. You know, I can uncap the pen, start writing, and not fear that the pen's dried out, which means that the tolerances on the inside are great. There's no going to be any sort of gaps in the cap, which can happen with certain pens. And it's been brilliant. You know, I've used this extensively in work and at home, and my testing has been nothing short of superb. So that now leads me on to whether this pen is worth it. Of course, this is going to be completely subjective, and there are some other propositions out there which may be more to your liking in the sort of price range of $280 to $220 US. You can look at maybe a Platinum 3776, which has a gold nib, if that is something which is important to you. Or maybe you could look at a Lamy 2000, which is now sort of in that sort of price point. Both are, you know, lovely options. But I'd say this offers something a little bit more. You're getting something artisanal, you're supporting small business, and I think, you know, those are, you know, really worthwhile qualities to potentially look out for when choosing a fountain pen. If you are looking to get something which is a little bit more artistic and a little bit subdued on the glitter aspects, you can look at Stanford pens. Now they do start out at about £100-200 more than this pen, but you are getting more artwork on the pen. Now I have looked at the rest of BENU's offerings, and I would say that perhaps these offer some of the better value propositions. Some of them can go into the thousands, and you know, this is of course a subjective thing. I wouldn't necessarily spend £3,000 or £4,000 on a BENU pen which is hand painted. I don't think the artistic renditions from what I've seen online necessarily warrant that asking price, but that's not to say that it wouldn't be necessarily something which someone else might want to look into. Okay, so overall this pen is beautiful. Of course that is subjective, but I think if this is a pen which is piquing your interest, should you go out and buy it? Absolutely. I think the value proposition which you're getting from the hand painted aspect, the coupled beautiful writing experience, offers you something which is, you know, a cut above the rest. You know, if perhaps you've got your umpteenth number of swirly acrylic X brand pen and you want something which is a bit different, BENU is definitely a company to look at. So that's my thoughts for today, and I hope you've enjoyed today's review. If you have any comments, please do leave them down in the section below. Are artistic pens like BENU something which are of interest to you? Do you like hand painted pens, maquillé? Let me know, and I would be really interested in your feedback. And if you are of course interested in purchasing this pen, I do have a link down in the description below. Do click on the link please, because it helps BENU in terms of their marketing and understanding where the traffic is being driven from, which of course means you only get a better deal down the line. So thank you for listening, and I shall see you in the next video. Till next time, stay safe and goodbye for now.